Hello and welcome to Unpreachy, a podcast of homilies and reflections from St. John Chrysostom Parish. Today, Deacon John Louis reflects on Luke chapter 21, verses 25 to 28 and 34 to 36. The Gospel reading for the first Sunday of Advent, December 1st, 2024.
Some years ago, I experienced one of the worst episodes of my entire career. My single most important client canceled my contract with his organization, and he gave me no reason other than that he thought it was time for each of us to move on, and nothing further. He blindsided me with it. And as I thought about it later, I began to wonder how we were going to make ends meet. The mortgage, kids' tuition, insurance, taxes. And in the midst of this, keeping the office running while still making the payroll. All I could see around me was darkness and chaos, and I felt vulnerable and completely inadequate, like I'd let my family down. Fortunately, though, we were able to survive it, and as we sometimes hear, when one door closes on you, another one opens. And that's what happened, and we were able to continue moving forward. I think about this point often when I hear that Jesus is making in the gospel the point where he tells us not to be consumed by the anxieties of daily life, to be vigilant, not to let it sneak up on us and catch us by surprise. He reminds us to keep our heads up, even in times of severe trial, and always to be ready, because the time of our redemption is at hand. What a comforting and affirming message that is for us as we consider going to the beginning of Advent. And Jesus goes one step further when he tells us to pray for the strength to withstand the tribulations at hand that will inevitably occur in our lives. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus tells this to us over and over again. Do not be afraid. And he reminds us of this through all of his parables and through all of his teachings and through all of his miracles. And this really is relevant for us to consider as we embark on a new church year, this first Sunday of Advent that we celebrate today, with all of the uncertainties and all of the fears and all of the anxiety that anything new that we do brings to us. Advent is a time for us to hit the pause button and take a fresh look at everything going on in our lives as we begin this period of preparation for the coming of Jesus into the world. It's a good time for us to think about where we've been blessed with our families, with our friends, and to simply reflect on the many gifts that our Lord has freely given to us. It's also a good time for us to reflect on how we can renew friendships with folks that we've grown apart from for whatever reason, and to ask the Lord to bless them as he has blessed us this past year, and then to ask the Lord how we can follow through with them. And it's definitely a good time to go out on a limb to meet new people. People who don't exactly look like us, or talk like us, or dress like us, or have the same sexual orientation as us, but who were made in the same likeness of God that we were, and who are just as loved by God as we are. And to see that once we get to know them, they really are just like us. And they want the same things for their families as we do for ours. And then we hear the Lord say to us, "See, I told you not to be afraid. I've got you covered." And here's the good news. As we hit this proverbial pause button, we get a chance to reflect on what it means to be a part of a church, a gathering of people of faith who can lift us up, support us, reinforce our values, and worship our Lord together with us at Mass each week. These are life-giving encounters that our Lord offers to us, and they allow us to help lift others up as well. In fact, here at St. John's, there are numerous ministries that we can be part of. Preparing freezing meals and casseroles for our friends at St. John's Hospice in Philly and the Access Center in Chester. Providing confidential assistance through our Good Samaritan ministry to persons and families here in our community who are in crisis for whatever reason, illness, job loss, or whatever the emergency might be. Visiting our homebound and sick parishioners and helping them to remain connected and active within our parish community. Embracing and facilitating activities and programs for persons with disabilities, especially our sensory-friendly Santa visit and bingo that we got scheduled for this afternoon over in the gym, and providing a safe place for persons in the LGBTQ community and their families, together with prayer and support. These are just a few of the ministries offered here at St. John's that allow people to grow in their faith and experience just how much each of us has to offer our neighbor and how much our Lord and our neighbor has to offer to us as well. So as we begin our celebration of the Advent season today, let's ask our Lord to help us to be vigilant at all times, to prepare for his coming at Christmas by embracing the needs of others, by welcoming them into our lives and allowing them to see and experience the love of Christ in our hearts. God bless you.
Unpreachy is a production of St. John Chrysostom Parish in Wallingford, Pennsylvania. Visit us at sjcparish.org. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. This podcast was produced by Brendan Lorden with music by Skytoes on Upbeat. Thanks for listening. Be well.